morning. This is all very unplanned, very impromptu, to say the least. Let me get driving and I'll tell you what's going on. So, I am currently headed to Sonoma Raceway for a track day. However, viewers of this channel may recognize that this is not my track car. This is actually my daily driver of all things, and this is all kind of a last-minute effort to salvage this day. I was supposed to have a video out by the end of this week that I am still working on because of a little thing called scope creep. And in the process of making that video, I realized in the middle of the week, well, hey, there was a track day at Sonoma that I was supposed to sign up for. I was supposed to make a video about it, and I just completely forgot about it until earlier this week when I went to go sign up. So sign up I did, but little did I realize that I was completely underprepared for this. So a few nights ago, I went to finally go replace a water pump on my track car. And replacing that water pump went fine on its own. It was when I went to go replace the gaskets on the thermostat housing as well. It was a little while you're in there deal. They're super simple parts to replace. You just slap in the new part and you're good to go. Long story short, it did not seal. I pressure tested it before I actually started the car up and it was leaking like crazy. I went out for a test drive anyways. I tried to put everything back together and get it to seal up as best as I could, but despite my best efforts, I could not get that thing to stop leaking. It was spraying coolant everywhere, and to be honest, it isn't spraying coolant when the car is off and there's no pressure in the system, but once you get it hot and there is that pressure in the system, it's spraying all over my engine bay. So last night in a frenzy, I did a few little things that I should have done to this car when I bought it, quite frankly. I don't have an oil change kit for this car, so that's a little irresponsible of me. I topped it off with some Valvoline VR1. Hopefully that'll hold me over until after this track day. I will change it after this track day, I promise. I also bled the brakes. I put in some Castrol SRF, so that should be more than good on the fluid side of things. For pads, we're running Hawk HP Plus, which will be okay, I hope. They're definitely not track pads, so we're getting brake fade no matter what. I also just gave the car a once over. I haven't inspected it thoroughly since I bought it. I kind of just took the previous owner's word on a lot of things. So far it's held up. I haven't found any red flags. We'll talk more about all the mods on this car later, but for the most part, this car should be good, but this is a bit of a risk, and I do feel a little risky and a little stupid trying to do this. It would have been smarter just to risk my track car that I already take to the track rather than risk my daily driver, but oh well, I guess. So with that said, enjoy this montage of me driving through SF all the way to Sonoma. But I've still got a lot of prep work to do, so I'm gonna leave it here. I'll get back to you guys when I'm ready for my first session. Alright, first session is up, and I'm not ready, but we're going out anyways. Okay, this all feels scary, but you know, I do have traction control in this car at least, so we have some safeguards. Here we go. I'm leaving traction on for now. Only 4 turns into my outlap, I already had a small problem. The traction control light was on and it was not due to any wheel slip. The previous night, I had started the car while it was jacked up to check everything after some prep work. I didn't realize this car had ride height sensors because doing so gave me a DSC fault code. According to the forums, the best way to reset this was to disconnect the battery for 5 minutes. I did that, but the light came back on my drive to the track. So I disconnected the battery again for longer when I was unpacking my car, but it came back again after barely 4 turns. It seems traction control is still active to some extent, but as I would learn in later sessions, it wasn't cutting throttle as much as it normally would if there weren't any fault codes. Nothing particularly interesting happened during the session, but as I got a feel for the car, I did notice something other than the traction control was off. The brakes felt inconsistent the entire time. The bulk of the prep work I had done the previous night was flushing and bleeding the brakes with Castrol SRF. This is a brake fluid that should have zero problems for the kinds of demands we're asking for it. Ever since I bought this car, the brakes have at times felt a little squishy, so I assumed it just needed a little bit of a brake bleed. But now I think something else is up. Sometimes the brake pedal would be nice and stiff, as I would expect from a big brake kit of this caliber. Other times, however, the pedal would travel anywhere from a quarter to half the way down before I got any actual braking. I'd be hard pressed to say it's pad knockback since these calipers have anti-knockback springs in them, and I also highly doubt there's any flex in the big beefy cast knuckles. I'll have to look more into this when I get home, but needless to say the brakes were inconsistent and mildly sketchy for the entirety of my time on track this day.
Okay, well, I should really be doing a cool down lap. Overall, not a bad experience though. I got used to it. Throttle response isn't as good as I thought it would be on track, but I don't know. It's a daily driver at the same time. It's probably better than it was stock. This is tuned. Alright, well, I got a driver's meeting to attend, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so that session went okay. I got a few problems. One, I am definitely kind of boiling over on power steering, although I did fill that up quite a bit before I left. So much so that there is some fluid here on the ground. Hopefully it's not an issue. I checked my tires, they're good. Checked the wheel lugs, they're good. I do not know why my DSC or traction control light is stuck on each of this side and that side there. On this side of the car, there is a level sensor for the ride height. And I'm not really sure if that's the issue or if last night when I was bleeding the brakes, one of my sensors for ABS got dirty. Weird enough, the light does go off whenever I start the car for the first time and just start to drive around the paddock. But then when I actually get out on track and start taking a few turns, it doesn't take more than, even an out lap going really slow, not even on the limit of grip or anything or sliding, for that light to come back on. And I don't mean flashing on when I start to slide or lose grip on one wheel. I mean it goes off entirely and I'm locked into traction control. The braking also just feels a little sketchy. Once these pads got up to temp, not too bad. Long braking zones, like, turn 10? Feels a little sketchy there, and then sometimes it feels like I'm getting pad knockback or just air in the system. I bled the brakes pretty thoroughly last night, so I'm not really sure why. Otherwise, it felt surprisingly good. This car is doing a lot better than I expected it to, so kudos, I guess. So between the brakes not feeling good and that little power steering pedal down there, this is probably the point at which most reasonable people would call it for the day. Too bad I'm not a reasonable person. That said, I've done all my checks that I can do on the car, so I'm just gonna go out and send it for one, maybe two more sessions. I do have a friend who showed up as a surprise who's doing the autocross today. I don't know if it's his first time or what, but I'm gonna go check him out in a little bit. I'll get some footage of him driving later. All right, I don't have a lot of battery left on this camera, so this might not get the whole session, but second session, and we're just gonna go out for a little bit, see what happens. Yeah, with all the brake stuff we got going on and everything else, this is this is a slow lane kind of day.
For next session, things went a little more smoothly. This time the DSC fault code was cleared for good and traction control was functioning as normal. After my outlap, I realized that traction control was cutting a lot in tighter corners, likely due to the factory limited slip differential not having much lock and spinning up the inside tire. So I decided to turn off traction control.
A lot of understeer on throttle. I mean, one wheel peel kind of understeer, not like the tires aren't lighting up. They are lighting up too much.
The brakes were still just as sketchy as last session, though that wouldn't be much of a problem as it would be something else that would end my session after just a couple laps.
Uh-oh. I am in limp home mode. No, just drove on a fast lap too. What's wrong? It's low on power. I have a check engine light, but I don't hear knocking, pinging. Temps are fine the whole time. The DSC is still working correctly, so at least we fixed one thing. Traded one problem for another. Sounds like it's misfiring. Let's see what we got going on in here. key on. Manufacturer control. Okay, I gotta look these up. So I double checked my codes. They were all misfire codes, which I guess that makes sense, but I cleared them, and just idling here and revving the engine a little, everything seems fine now. If you hear that rattling, that's just the flywheel stuff. I put the clutch in, goes away entirely. So I think we might have just gone a little hot. I didn't really see the temp gauge going over there or anything, and the oil temp was exactly where it was last session. It gets up to just a little bit before this dot, which I think is going to be the best we can do for oil temps on this car without an oil cooler. So my guess is that's probably fine, but I don't really know for sure. I am going to take it out for part of one more session before lunch, and then I'm going to head home. The camera on my helmet up here is almost dead, and I did not bring anything to charge either my phone or the camera with. I kind of came pretty unprepared today, apparently. So on the one hand, I had come in early due to that misfire, but at least DSC this time was working. So we fixed one thing and gained another problem. I think that problem is probably going to be just due to overheating or just getting a little too hot. That said, I'm gonna go see my friend in the autocross section and see what he is up to. Ah, there he is. My car is hilariously quiet. And across the line. How'd it go?
Pretty fun.
Yeah?
Good. Car like at full lock though. I hear a little bit of a rubby.
Okay.
So
Are these wider tires than stock?
no.
Oh, okay. Stock. Wait, these are mini wheels. Wait. I just realized that. That's a little bit of a blast from the past for me, but anyways.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it feels good.
No, it feels great. I mean, I'm hearing noises.
Okay.
That's, I think, just old car things.
Is your cluster just like hanging in there?
It's bolted-ish.
Okay. All right. Have fun out there. This is Hashem. He's a viewer of the channel, and he's coming along for a ride along. And this is
Aiden. And these seats are insane.
They are. They're pretty good for daily.
Yeah. This car sounds like a popcorn maker.
It has no muffler.
Wait, what?
Muffler delete.
Oh, is that what the Turner is?
Yeah. Oh. It's like the Ricer of BMWs. For the most part, this session went just as well as the last. I tried to pull up a sick drift in turn 7, but that one wheel peel and soft suspension doesn't lend itself well to holding a slide. Such a shame for my first car in this horsepower range. Everything went fine until I decided to carry just a little more speed into turn 10, and then this happened. I'm not entirely sure what caused that, but the damping in this car kind of sucks for track use, and I think the rear was just floating around too much to be stable through a corner at that speed. I didn't get it on camera, but despite a full cooldown lap, the car still had the same issue of misfiring after a few hot laps. I guess the engine bay heat soaks a lot. Anyways, here's what came next. So, how was that?
Insane.
Yeah?
It's freaking, I mean, I told you before, this is maybe the grippiest car I've been in.
So, like, this is your second time out on track in general in someone's car?
Second time out here. No, first time out here, second time overall.
Okay.
But compared to Thunderhill, like this just, I don't know if it's because you're faster than the person I was with last time, or just this car is really gripped up. Yeah, don't let it get to your head. But no, it just freaking, I think what we were talking about, turn 4 and the carousel felt crazy. And there's just the brake zones in general.
Sometimes it goes halfway down and there's nothing, and then it brakes. Other times it's like firm and like immediate. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but yeah.
It's insane.
Happy?
Very happy.
Okay.
I hope you're happy.
Glad I didn't scare you too much with that almost off track. I know camera probably didn't get it, but
that wasn't as bad as it felt.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just, I don't know if
you caught it early at least.
I did. I don't know if you feel it. The body just kind of wobbles. It doesn't really like just plant and firm and go.
Yeah.
It's just like, so.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed
Hell
it.
yeah. Dude, that was awesome.
As I was packing up, I felt pretty good about the day as it had gone. It wasn't the full track day I had paid for, but it was better than no track day. Plus, for once, I was packing up early and it wasn't due to the car being broken. Well, minus my power steering pedals at least. I'm pretty sure I've got a bad leak coming from somewhere in that area, but I didn't have time to check it out yet. Now that I've had a few days to edit this video and look back at it, I'm pretty pleased with how all this went. My daily driver became a track car overnight, and it did pretty well for the day with very little prep. It's been a while since I took a car out on track for the first time, and it's a refreshing experience to get to experience something new like this. It's a BMW M car after all. It is built for some level of performance, just perhaps not full 20-minute track sessions. That said, there are a few issues that I need to look at, namely the brakes. I don't really know what's going wrong there, but it's kind of concerning for a car that weighs 4,000 pounds to not have proper braking. At no point did I not have access to full braking pressure. The brakes were always there if I just pushed a little further, but it's still a little sketchy that it would work that way, especially considering that this is probably one of the best big brake kits you can get for this car, so something's got to be off somewhere. That said, despite how well this thing did out on track, I am probably never going to take this to the track again. The suspension was too soft, the differential does not lock nearly enough for how much power this thing has to put down in corners, and the bucket seats don't even really hold you in place enough around corners. Now, to be honest, the old me would have said those are all points on which I can improve this car and then make it into a better track car. But now I look at it and say those are all points as to why this should stay a daily driver and stay a street car and not become a track car. The bucket seats are comfortable for the street. The suspension is comfortable going over potholes in rough roads. The differential doesn't whine as I go down the freeway. I really want to keep this car in its current state. Going to the track did give me a few items to improve on this car, namely a few little reliability items / repairs that need to be done, as well as just a few little creature comforts that I know need to be ready for any kind of road driving as well as track driving in general. For example, it would be nice if the parking brake worked. But otherwise, I'm really happy to know that this car did really well out on track as is, and didn't really need any extra work for me to make it into a good track car. Although that said, this is on V730s for the tires, so those tires probably did a lot of the heavy lifting. But if you want to see what happens to this car in the future, as well as any of my other cars in the fleet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It tells YouTube that more people like you want to watch videos like this, and it helps me out tremendously. While you're down there, leave a like and consider leaving a comment. I love seeing what you guys have to say, and I always read all the comments, even if I don't respond to all of them. If you want to support the channel, there is a link to the Patreon down below. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and as always, I will see you in the next one.